happy Monday. I'm gonna give, I need to check something really quick. So, because I just got a little overzealous and forgot to, okay, that's what I needed to do. I needed to mute my MacBook. So, let's see. Um, So if you're watching this on replay, you may want to fast forward a couple of minutes. Let's see. Alrighty. Give me just a second. Okay. All right. Let's see if my computer let me be great. Here we go. Okay. Alrighty. So happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy New Year. If this is my first time seeing you since the new year, I pray that you had a great day. I pray that you brought in the new year successfully. I pray that you brought in the new year with joy. I pray that you brought in the new year with smiles. I pray that you brought in the new year. I pray that you brought in the new year with a mind that is positioned to be transformed. I pray that you came into 2026 open, being willing to receive things that are new and being open to, catch this, some of the things that you have been doing that you can refine, improve, and just to be frank, some of the things that how should I say this? Being positioned in your mindset to embrace that maybe you've been doing some things that are not right? I pray that you came into this. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you are tuning in. I pray that you came into this new year open to learning something new, being willing to understand and learn that maybe the way that you've been doing things and the way that you've been thinking is really not the way to think, right? Hi, Jackson. I pray that you all have had a phenomenal day and a great new year. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. For those of you all who do not know me, my name is Dr. JaNee Mobley. I'm affectionately known as Dr. JaNee, and I help professional women and a few good men who lack focus, fulfillment, and self-confidence achieve self-awareness, self-direction, and clarity and fulfillment to walk in their mandate and have the boldness to do it. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and share this live with about 2 or 3 people. So I'll be honest, I came on here tonight with bullet points. I always have bullet points and something to share to help guide me through what I'm going to teach and what I'm going to share. But tonight I just felt the need to kind of switch it up a little bit and just approach this a little bit differently. So tonight is all about burnout. I want to speak to the person who is the be all for everybody. If you are that person who is the go to, you're the person that everybody comes to, you're the person that everybody comes to for advice, you're the person that everybody comes to dump all of their problems on or share their issues with and are seeking advice. And you're the one who just doesn't know who to go to. Like, you're the one who's carrying everybody's problems. You're the one who leads your family. You're the one who's carrying everybody's burdens. And you're just tapped out, right? I want you to put a 1 in the comments if you know that you are overwhelmed, right? And I'll be honest, I can relate in a lot of ways. You're looking at a woman, first and foremost, you're looking at a wife. You're looking at a mom of younger children. You're looking at a woman who still works a full-time job while building her business. At this time, it is 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Mondays and Thursdays are the days that I work on my business. Now, I'll be honest, depending upon what is going on or what events I have going on, I'll work during the week, but mainly Mondays and Thursdays are the days that I really put forth a lot of energy in my business. And the reason why is this: I chose those 2 days because I understand after working a full-time job and after being a wife, after being a mom, it is a lot, right? And burnout is real. And I want to say this: growing up and even just being a woman, even observation, the superwoman complex has become something that a lot of women have crowned as something that should be done. And even men, you may have crowned yourself for being everything to everybody and not asking for help and not being open and willing to receive help because you're used to being the one that helps everybody. And if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And I want to dispel that because I want you to picture this. One of the things that I am truly learning in building my company is that anything that is big, you cannot build by yourself. I'm going to say that again. Anything big. And all of us, I believe and I know that God made us visionaries, because those of us who are believers, the Bible tells us that we are created in His image and in His likeness. And God is creative. Right? So if we're made to be like Him, that means that we are creative. This is why you get all of the ideas that you get. This is why it's hard for you to rest sometimes, because you just feel the nudge like you got to do something, right? And you know that there are big things. You have big vision, big ideas, right? And all of us are creative by just the way that God created us. But anything that is big, you cannot do on your own. I want to give you a perspective. Hi, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're tuning in. I'm on the East Coast of the United States. So it is 9:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it is evening here. Y'all drop where you all are tuning in from. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And also I'm hosting my free masterclass, the Fulfillment Formula Masterclass. If you know that you want to live a fulfilled life, if you're tired of just doing the same thing every day and you know that there's a greater calling, there's something greater for you to do, and your heart just won't rest until you do it, click the link and join me this Thursday. So I had this perspective that God gave me. I want you to think about the conception of human beings, or even animal. Well, let's just go with human beings, right? With human beings, by nature, we weren't created by one single process, right? It took two people to create, okay? If we're doing this God's way, okay? Right? You need two people to create, to receive the proper care, to be brought into this world safely. You could not do it by yourself. So why do we believe and we think that if it took help to get us here, if it took the right support to get us here, if it took the right resources to get us to this physical earth, how can we possibly believe that we can do everything by ourselves and be everything to everyone by ourselves? I want you to think about what burnout is. And I had this thought because I'm a very visual person. And shout out to my husband for setting up my stand. Y'all, my stand, and y'all don't pay attention to comments. People are stupid. I said it. I'm not sorry about it, but people can be really stupid, and it's just to gain attention. You got your couple of seconds, right? So shout out to my husband. My ring stand, the bottom of it broke, and I had another one, and he engineered and connected it. So thank God for him. But I want you to think about what burnout is. And one of the first things, I'm a visual person, one of the first things that came to my mind was a candle. So candle has wax, candle has a wick that once lit, it begins to melt the wax so that in most cases, if you have Bath and Body Works Yankee Candle, it actually illuminates the home and provides great fragrance as well, right? But after a while, if that wick continues to burn, right? If it continues to burn, after a while, it's going to burn out. And you'll get to a place where the candle won't burn anymore. Why? Because there's no wick. When you think about a human being, one of the reasons why people burn out is because they've they get to a point where initially they're lit, they're excited, you have an idea, you become a wife, you become a mom, or you become a husband, you lead a company, you are in leadership roles, and then you have this requirement, this request, and this person pulling at you and that pulling at you. You may be the leader of your family, you may be the eldest of all the kids or the youngest, and you're the one who has to carry everybody, right? And then the responsibilities begin to pull at you. Your wick begins to burn. It continues to burn, right? And what happens again, people continue to pull at you. You still have work, you still have your roles, you still have your responsibilities. And the wick of the candle continues to burn without giving yourself rest, without refueling yourself. What happens? That wick, which is you, begins to burn out. And you get to a place where you can't illuminate anything, not even yourself. Just like that candle, once it's burnt out, you cannot provide a fragrance, a piece to anybody else, not even yourself. Why? Because you never poured back into your own cup. You said yes to everything, yes to being everything, and being there for everyone, but you never showed up for you. This is the cost of feeling like you have to have it all together. One of the greatest gifts that I ever gave myself was being honest with me. Even when I walk my clients through the mandate journey in my coaching program, one of the first things that we touch on is self-honesty. Because the only way that you're going to be able to have the boldness to go for it, one of the only ways that you're going to be able to have the boldness to step out of your comfort zone and walk in your mandate is you have to be honest with you where you are right now. I remember being in college, and there were times where I was overwhelmed in pharmacy school. I used to pick up, because that's where the doctor part comes from, a doctor of pharmacy. And I would pick up the phone and call somebody. One of the greatest gifts that my mother ever gave me when my father passed away, she gave me therapy. And that taught me the importance of never feeling like I have to carry anything or anyone on my own. I remember when, and I'm not giving out tips, I'm just sharing here and just sharing my heart, and I'm gonna be done in a couple of minutes. But I remember when I gave birth to our second child, me and my husband's second child, our daughter, and I remember feeling anxious. And one of the things that I've learned about anxiety is that although anxiety is a disease, it is also a sign and or symptom that something else is going on. 99 times out of 100. 99.99999 times. If you're experiencing anxiety, there's something underlying that you still need to address. So for me, once I felt anxious, I said, okay, something else is going on. And I invested in getting a therapist. And it was one of the greatest investments that I ever made. Why? Because I was able to uncover, I had someone to help me walk through and uncover where the anxiety was coming from. And I realized that, I even was honest with me, I realized it was daunting to think about how am I going to be able to share the love with not just one child, but two children. That was a lot for me at the time. But I had to acknowledge where I was. A lot of the times you may be burnt out and exhausted all because you are not telling yourself the truth. You feel like you have to keep going and going and going and going and going. Oh, people need me. People need this. People need that. They need this and they need that. But here's a perspective. If you completely burn out and drop dead, what will they do then? They will figure life out. They'll figure life out. It's amazing that people can master being amazing for everybody else and running to everybody else's beck and call. But when it comes to themselves, they neglect themselves. This is what happens when you hit burnout. Burnout comes from a series of self neglect. Burnout comes from ignoring the signs of being tired, of not being rested, of not sufficiently taking care of your body. Burnout comes from you ignoring your body. Period. People talk about emotional intelligence, and I didn't even know that it was an actual subject until a few years ago. And I used to always credit it into being what would I call emotional, what they call emotional intelligence now. I would call it being self aware, right? Being in tune to my emotions. Because I've always believed in being honest with myself. Because the moment that I lie to myself is the moment that I put myself in a position where mentally and emotionally I go on a downward spiral. And I refuse to do that to myself. So let me ask you this question. Where in your life are you burning the wick of your personal candle? Where in your life are you doing too much? Where in your life are you being too much for everybody else and neglecting yourself? Where are you saying yes to when you should have said no to? Where are you saying no to that you should have said yes to? What do I mean? Your body's telling you that you're tired, but you keep pushing yourself. If you look up heart disease in women and heart attacks do not show up in women majority of the time in the way that they show up with men as the chest pain and arm pain. It shows up a lot in women in being fatigued, tired. And the reason why a lot of women ignore those signs is because they've created a lifestyle where they're always tired. And when it's time to pay attention, they don't. Let me ask you a question. This is where you really, really have to be honest with yourself. Where in your life are you overwhelmed? We're at the beginning of the year. And this is an opportunity for you to start it well. It's not just about exercise. It's not even just about eating right. All of those things matter. But we have to be in tune to what our bodies are telling us, what our emotions are telling us, what our spirit is telling us. Where are you lying to yourself where you need to be honest? The only way that you'll live a life of true fulfillment is when you learn to be self-honest. That's really all I have tonight. I usually have like bullet points, but I just felt the need to come from a different angle. But if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the link below and join me for the Fulfillment Formula Masterclass this Thursday. Have an amazing evening and remember to know your worth. Good night, y'all.